Hey everybody, welcome to Growing Up Geeks Podcast, episode 002, Shell Shocked. So you can imagine what we're talking about today. We are your hosts, Joel.
And I'm Tim.
And we've been best buds since the first grade and probably about over 20 years of experience of being complete, utter nerds.
Yes. As we say, always
other nerds.
Complete and utter nerds. Joel, speaking of our title, Shell Shock, I want to go into a little bit of a story regarding Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is going to be our subject today.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember back in school when we would have drawing contests, like just between me and you, a couple of our friends during recess? I don't know if you remember this or not, but we actually had a drawing contest involving Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where we would draw the best turtle. We tried to draw the best turtle because turtles were ruling our life at that time. And I drew specifically a Ninja Turtle with a upside down kind of nose. You know, it kind of has that nose next to the bandana that goes around their eyes. And I did this thing that was upside down nose as opposed to, or the right side up where it looked like it was basically had two smiley faces going on, and including its teeth. And you did like this amazing, perfect turtle where you actually drew it correctly. And I can specifically remember when we went to get judged by our friends on who had the better drawing, you basically called out my horrible rendition of the turtle, though it was okay. I think I remember it was okay. I'll try to have to draw what it actually looks like and put it on our Instagram account or something. But you I think I won the drawing contest out of sheer popularity vote, maybe. And I don't know if you remember or not, but
that's hilarious.
Yeah. It's always stuck in my head because I remember us always drawing something. Like we've always had a little passion for art, and you, Joel, actually pursued that career in art, and he's an amazing artist now. I just remember us always drawing, and it's just been amazing to me. I'm excited for us to be able to show off your artwork now on our Instagram account and everything else, and just put that up there.
Well, I appreciate it, Tim. I really do. That actually was one of the things that spurred me on in wanting to do art. I remember standing there next to my dad. I was showing him a picture of this picture of Leonardo that I did. My dad was like, wow, this is pretty good. And that was the moment where I was like, well, I think it'd be kind of cool to do this. So I actually loved your artwork, man. I did. I loved your style. You have a really cool style that you had. I'd love to see you do more of that for sure. Yeah. So do another Ninja Turtle and post it.
Yeah, well, I'll try to recreate what I drew way back in the early 90s at recess. And I think it was inside our school, like it was rain. I just remember being inside the gym and it being rainy, and we would have to have recess inside the gym when it was like inclement weather outside. And I just remember us bringing that, and it could have even been before school or whatever. Anyway, Joel, what have you been geeking out about this week? We always like to talk about that from week to week, and what's been your big geek out this week?
All right, I have two things that I was really geeking out about this week. One of them you brought up not too long ago. They're going to release a 3DS version of Super Mario Maker, which is really, really cool. I have the Wii U version of Super Mario Maker, and it's a blast to play. You get to make your own Mario levels. I remember the other night I was sitting down just kind of after a long day and kind of blowing off steam, just making about the most traditional level I can possibly think of and playing it by myself. It's a pretty cool thing, and to actually have that as a handheld is pretty fun too. There's a new board game coming out. I actually have it in front of me. Not the actual board game, but I have it up on my webpage here. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shadows of the Past board game that's coming out by IDW, and it was created by Kevin Wilson, and he's the game designer that did I think Descent. I'm really excited about checking that out. It's going to be kind of like a Descent style adventure, and if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of like a dungeon crawl. So I actually have a dungeon crawl style game with Ninja Turtles sound. It was just about the coolest thing ever. So go online, check those two things out. How about you, Tim?
Yeah, I was definitely excited for the 3DS. I don't actually own the 3DS for the actual So it was pretty much a 3DS eccentric show that they did for the Nintendo Direct this time, trying to push out the last bit of the 3DS before the NX actually comes out, probably in March. And I was very excited about the Mario Maker for the 3DS, and I'm pretty much gonna think I'm pulling the trigger on buying the 3DS, not only for that, but for a plethora of games that I have not even been able to play on the 3DS, a lot of the Legend of Zelda games, stuff like that. So it really kind of got my chomping at the bit for actually wanting the 3DS system. I've always liked the handhelds that's come out from Nintendo, so I'm definitely going to purchasing one soon. And since I work for a secondhand, basically eBay video game company, I can easily get my hands on one, and I can't wait for the Mario Maker.
You know what? And when you do, there's a lot of really cool games that just went on sale as of this week. I think it was about this week. That were just $20 flat. I think Donkey Kong Country Returns, right. DS version, the Mega Man Legacy, I think is like $10 right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good games on DS, especially the Ocarina of Time. Or Ocarina of Time. I don't know. I still don't know how to pronounce that. That's on sale.
Yeah, Ocarina. Yeah,
they updated the graphics on that. Link Between Two Worlds is on there. Man, there's just a lot of really good games on there, man.
Yeah, all the Legend of Zelda stuff that I haven't been able to play. I'm really excited about that. So
sweet.
That's what I'll be geeking out even more about that. I touched base on the first episode, but I did get to see the Shawshank Prison, where Shawshank was taped, and that was at the Ohio State Reformatory, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that's right.
An amazing place.
You were showing pictures. You were showing pictures of that. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I completely recommend anyone who wants to take a tour. If you're just a fan of history, just want to see what a massive correctional facility looked like. The architecture in this place is amazing. Go check out the Ohio State Reformatory. It's very cool. Put up some pictures of it on our Instagram account so everyone can kind of get a feel for what it's like. But a lot of the, Air Force One was taped, had prison scenes taped there. So it's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff left over from like Air Force One. So they have a picture of like Lenin and Stalin up because it was a Russian prison. It's really kind of surreal because you go into like, why is this here? You find out because, Air Force One, they're not, people in Ohio are not communists. So it's really, really interesting. It's really cool. It was a really fun place to go visit.
Yeah, that was really cool to see those pictures. Yeah, you see a lot of paint falling off the ceiling too. Doesn't look incredibly healthy to stay there. So I'd assume that it's not functioning anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely closed down. There were no prisoners walking around. So.
Eating lead paint chips, just kind of chewing on it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of lead paint. It's all peeling lead paint, so it's very fun.
All right,
Not
Tim.
so fun.
What else have you been geeking out about?
Really geeking out for this next history segment. We're going to be getting into on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's been so much fun, just learning the origins of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and we can't wait to get this segment going so everyone can
we have a long
hear
history
our childhood love for turtles.
That's right. We have a long history with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as a lot of people do. And I know both of us were very into it growing up and had a lot of action figures and stuff. So some people don't really know, like, the origin story, so to speak, of the Ninja Turtles. Some people do, some don't. But for sure, Tim, lay it down right now, a brief history of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, let's go back into the Wayback Machine again. Our story starts in November of 1983. Artists Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird came up with the concept Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So they found a lot of inspiration from artist Frank Miller, who was the artist who did Daredevil, the Ronin comic strips, and Ronin comics. And so actually basically Peter and Kevin got together. They basically said, hey, let's kind of do a dark New York gritty storyline, but we use Turtles, Ninja Turtles, and it was kind of this throw off kind of joking around and everything, and they made up the concept art for it. They both looked at him like, okay, yeah, we could have something here, and it was kind of a joke. So Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird in March 1984, Peter and Kevin found Mirage Studios because it actually worked out of Peter Laird's living room, so there wasn't an actual studio, so that's why they called it Mirage Studio. So I thought that was really funny. And they basically borrowed money from Eastman's uncle to get the first print run of 3,000 copies. Those 3,000 copies sold out very, very quickly, and they really just wanted to kind of do a one-off comic, and they decided, all right, this is really big, and they were making decent money on the very first, couple print runs of the first comic. And in January 1985, they finally completed issue number 2, and then it was, it just went amazing for them at that point. And we don't see too much. We have, I think there was a 5-issue print run with Mirage of issues that came out, and then Playmate Toys came to them and said, hey, do you guys want to do a toy line? So they started, in around the year 1987, they decided, okay, we're going to do a toy line, but no one's going to know what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is, except for a few people. So we're going to have to do a cartoon. So in December of 1987, the very first episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that Joel, you and I know and love actually came out.
Yeah.
Turtle Tracks was the debut episode. Like last time in our last episode, we're going to pause a little bit. You guys can pause the podcast. You guys can watch the first episode along with us. You can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just search for Turtle Tracks. We will go into our thoughts on the first episode.
Yeah, you know what? We also should remember to post that on our Facebook page too. That'd be swell. Super easy. Because people could comment on it as well. Yeah, you know what's funny is that my first and only eBay purchase ever was in college, and it was the first episode on VHS. And I even have a VCR. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, that first episode was pretty funny. Now it depends, I guess, what age I'm thinking at. If I'm thinking as a 9-year-old or a 7 to 9-year-old versus a 30-year-old now, I guess you'd have a different perspective. But Tim, what was your take on it?
Yeah, the opening theme song is completely and utterly amazing.
Yes.
It's always been like that very first, they go down to the sewer grate and you see that and the manhole and just pops up, and oh man, I know, and they I think fly out of the into the sky like all anime style, and they land in the van. And man, if they made all the animation just like that, I think the whole entire seasons would be absolutely amazing. I mean, seriously, they could go back and make a whole entire movie just out of that animation style, like the way it was. Like, they spent a lot of time on it, Tim. They must have. I mean, come on. Like, all the detail, because there's a stark difference between the intro and the rest of the series. So yeah, and it's kind of funny because it was pretty much they wanted to do a 5-episode run to basically promote the toys. So I think in their mind, they're like, okay, we're just going to introduce all the toys that we have ready to go, and we're just going to lay it out here. So I don't think they really intended to have a big, intense storyline, but 9-year-old, 7-year-old, because I was 7 at the time when the first episode debuted, really cares about storyline. They just want the action and everything else.
Yeah. As they were talking too, you can find this really great documentary on YouTube about this, and you hear it straight from them. But when it went from Mirage Studios to Playmates, they were like, Ninja Turtles weren't in a bigger audience like they wanted to. And so they decided, hey, let's make a TV show, which obviously today, if you haven't figured that out by now, this is why they have TV shows for kids, is to sell toys. So
yeah.
So
Right, and that's pretty much the whole concept, right? Is He-Man was the same way. We have an idea for a storyline. Okay, you're going to have to make a TV show. And that's pretty much how it was when we were growing up, is
Right.
they had the idea for the toys. How do we sell it? We sell it in cartoon form.
You know, and it was very much, it's interesting because there was a big difference between how it started and where it is in 1989, I think it was, or 87, when they released the TV show, because where it started was very gritty, like you said, Frank Miller style, if you're familiar with that. Lots of real contrast and all the, not color, but the inking and stuff, just to bring a lot of mood to it. It was really funny because the first issue of the comic, they kill off the main villain. Like Shredder gets impaled by Leonardo, you know, and it was a very gritty thing. And then all of a sudden, flash forward a few years later, and it's this very bubbly cartoon kids thing, which seemed like it maybe lost its soul a little bit as an adult, you know, looking at it now. But as a kid, like I'm like, thank you, you know, because I definitely wasn't into that kind of comic at the time. So the cartoon really appealed to me a lot. I mean, the colors and the humor and stuff is just really up our alley and really captivating. Do you remember the comic book at all, Tim? Like, do you remember that as a kid?
The only thing I remember for the actual comic was my friend at the time. We were on a field trip to a local thing. It was called the Thresherman's Reunion. And so it was actually a school thing, but they had a bunch of people selling a different vendors there, kind of like a flea market atmosphere. And he bought a copy of the first issue. And I'm sure it wasn't the first print run, like the 3000 print run, but he bought the first issue. And I remember that's my first time actually seeing the very gritty,
Oh yeah, I think
very gritty. Like, I couldn't believe, like, what, Ninja Turtles swear?
Yeah.
So that was my first experience. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is definitely different from the cartoon that I've been watching.
Because we saw
every
it
morning and.
Right, because we remember seeing the show and then seeing the comic books. It's very different.
Right.
I have a copy, at least of the first or the second reprinting, or one of the reprintings of the first issue. I can't remember what it was, and it's a work. And as I look through there, I'm like, man, this is pretty hardcore, like compared to what it was in the 1980s. But so what are some of your other reactions?
Yeah, well, for me, and I still remember this, is the pizza and everything that they put on the pizza. So
yes,
these are the different combinations of pizza that they had.
Hey guys,
pizza, pepperoni.
Hey guys, would you like ice cream and pepperoni pizza?
Yeah, so pepperoni and ice cream, jelly beans and mushrooms, and my favorite, actually, because I probably eat this, and it's really weird, but anchovies and peanut butter. And of course they also had the whipped cream pizza too.
That's pretty gross.
So,
no, the whipped cream pizza, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so the pizzas always like stuck out to me, and they still do, like, as in, I wonder if I'd actually eat that combination. I'm like, pepperoni, like sweet and salty. I could see myself, pepperoni and ice cream. See myself eating that kind of pizza.
Oh, yeah.
A jelly bean and mushroom, not too much because of the texture. And anchovy and peanut butter, to be honest, my wife will attest to this, is that I've put together some weird combinations of sandwiches in my past, and that one's right up my alley. Like that salty and the peanut butter, good protein mix there.
Yeah,
so I definitely.
I can't say that I would appreciate that as much as you would. But
our current history right now, and you have a great Nickelodeon show with the Turtles now, and we kind of talked briefly about that, just how we really enjoy the animation style, and the storylines are just really great for that. I think Nickelodeon's done a wonderful job of taking on the franchise and showing that love, and I really enjoy it too. I plan to watch it a little bit more. I haven't watched it as much as I've wanted to, but I've been to like the Nickelodeon park at Mall of America, which is really cool, and they have like the life-size like turtle like statues and stuff, and these really awesome epic poses. So I'll post some of those photos on our Instagram page. But yeah, now, Joel, we go to a little game show I like to call eBay What the Prices / The Price is Right. And I'm going to give you 5 TMT items that I have found on eBay. And you have to guess
all right,
the retail or the buy it now price, what it's going for right now.
No way. Oh my gosh.
Okay, your first item up for bid, Jewel, is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TMT fan-made custom Shredder helmet in 3 parts, actually. And I sent you pictures of this. We'll throw up some pictures on our Instagram or our Facebook page. But
fan-made is, oh my gosh,
fan-made. It looks pretty awesome. It looks like your classic Shredder helmet from the original 1990 TMNT movie.
That's awesome. It's still menacing.
Brushed.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So Joel,
oh man,
what would you be willing to pay for that? What did this guy have for the buy it now price?
Oh man, the buy now price? Oh, all right. Let's see. Since it's fan made, I probably guess the buy now price would be very high. I would have a very high expectation of what I want to get from this. So I would say probably $300. What do you think?
I'm sorry, Joel, you have gone over. Actually, it's only $100. You can have yourself a custom-made Shredder helmet for $189.
What?
Yeah.
What do they make this thing out of? Like tinfoil? This looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at the image you sent me here, but my gosh, I could see it. I don't know. It looks like a little imperfect. I think it's fan made.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good to me. It's brushed metal, and I think it's pretty.
Well,
good.
I guess you're not going to wear it. It's something you'd sit on your. Yeah, I guess you're right. All right. What's the next one?
Your second item up for bid is the rare 1990 retro mutagen sealed foot ooze container, and it's been graded by the, I believe, American Figures Association. It's rated 85 out of 100. This is your typical GAC / slime from Nickelodeon that you would get, and this is sealed.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, this is so great. I remember having a toy that was like a torture device. It was like one of the bad guy things that you would get, and it was the top. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like the top of it was a toilet, and you stick the mutagen in top of the toilet, and it would be like this torture device where you had this like little lever that you'd open, and it would ooze onto it's supposed to ooze on top of. You'd have to ooze on top of the Ninja Turtle. And so you'd stick them on a tray, and then I remember playing that thing, watching the Ninja Turtles, and having the mutagen, and eventually dry out or whatever. Okay, so
now
assuming that it's
to give you a little hint, this actually, well, not a very big hint, but back in 1990, this thing sold for $3.
I would have to say they probably want to make some money off this. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Because it's in this super airtight, contained unit.
Yes,
that's been rated.
It is officially rated. So they paid the money to get it verified for sure.
I would say $150.
You are off by $500. It is actually going for the buy it now price on this is $650.
$650. Oh my gosh. For retro
mutagen.
Oh man.
Yeah, if any of you go out to your little garage sales, find the little retro mutagen container of ooze, pick up those things because
oh man, now I wish I would have kept the container.
Yeah, well, yeah,
could have probably sold it for $50 on eBay.
It probably could have, yeah, for sure. All right, item number 3, the very infamous character Scratch the Cat, rare, new in box, unpunched, unopened, sealed.
I don't remember that guy. Do you remember that guy from the TV show? I sure don't remember him.
No, I think they had a lot of characters in their toy line. They had over 400, I believe, for the time that Playmates was doing it. But this was one of the final runs from 1993. So like any like video game you might get with Nintendo or anything, you get a very short run. And yeah, so would you like to know the portrait of Scratch, the crafty crook cat, his vital statistics per his little note here is his weapon of choice was Jailbird was a swindling sidekick, the bagel burglared loot, and he also came with a criminal cake gun, a felonious fish club, and his... Can you guess what his least favorite government employee would be, Joel?
Well, he's in a jail costume. I can't imagine what it could be.
It would be a dog catcher, of course.
Oh, wow.
And his favorite breakfast cereal was mouse granola. Don't cross Scratch's path or he'll cross you out. So,
okay,
how much is this ultra
That's
rare on card? Still...
That's true. It still has a card in there. It's a limited run at the very end of the show, so it's probably not a lot of them being sold. Although it is a very obscure character and not central to the show, because I remember in that documentary we watched, they had come up with a lot of different characters before they even came out with the show, if I remember right. So
yeah,
let me see. I would have to say $75.
You, sir, are way off. The range for Scratch the cat, if you even for loose, is anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200.
What? Oh my gosh. See, I'm pretty cheap in general. Like, I would look at that and be like, as a turtle fan growing up, I'm like, no, he's not in the canon. He's just some weird cat. It's not a big deal. $3? Oh my gosh. That's insanity.
Yeah.
Right, dude.
And also
Wow.
if you just have his card in the bubble without the figure right now, that can go anywhere from $100 to $250.
Holy cow. You retire off just having a box of those things. Holy cow. If I could go back in time and just raid. Yeah. If I could go raid the bin, you know?
All right. And your number 4 item up for bid is a 1989 birthday card featuring Shredder.
That artwork is awesome. Yes. For your birthday. What does it say on the inside, I wonder? For your birthday, I will shred you in the heart.
That would be good, but it says, for your birthday, how about a nice big bowl of turtle soup?
Of course.
And this is from Nextsoft Cards, 1989. There's multiple of these cards featuring different characters, of course, like Bebop and Rocksteady and your turtles also. So, Joel, how much would you pay for a birthday card from 1989 featuring Shredder?
So I'm going to take this as something how much I would pay versus how much they're probably wanted to sell it for. I would pay because I don't find any value in it, because the artwork isn't like original artwork from like 80s here. I probably would say, I mean, from the actual artists who did the show, probably $5.50.
Oh, so
that's how
close.
much I would pay.
$4.99, Joel. You can get.
Are you serious?
Cards. Yeah, $4.99.
Nice. I win that one. That's awesome.
For sure.
Very nice.
And now for our last item, possibly most rare item, we have the Gobbledygook #1 from Mirage Studios 1984, and this features an ad for the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the back cover. What, Joel, is the price of this first?
Wow.
One of the first comics by Mirage.
One of the first comics by Mirage? That is insane. Oh, I'm sure this is very expensive. And that's Fugitoid on the cover too. He's like the fugitive robot. I had an action figure of Fugitoid. I don't think I really remembered who it was, even when I was a kid. But I really enjoyed the action figure. All right.
Yeah.
I would guess $5,000.
Oh, so close. $5,999.
Really? No way.
95 cents, yes.
Ding-a-ling-ding. Man, that's awesome.
All right, Joel, and now for the bonus round.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on, baby.
All right, this item went to auction in May of 2012, and this is the original TMNT drawing done by Eastman and Laird. So this is the original drawing of the four turtles done by Eastman and Laird.
The original drawings.
The original... Like the original four turtles with the little tails, everything. So this is the original.
Okay, interesting. So they aren't just in a back somewhere in the office just making these and just, selling them or anything. But we're talking like the originals, like from the 80s. Wow.
Yeah, this is
amazing.
The original.
They have a drawer full of them.
Right, yeah. Every 10 years they're just gonna put out and say the one thing's original, and the person who actually bought the original is gonna be like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh.
So what would you say it auctioned off for?
All right, what I think it would auction off for. Now let me see here. I'm kind of lick my finger and point in the air and see which way the wind's gonna blow here. So let's see. Original. Now there's a lot of Ninja Turtle fans worldwide. Like it's not just the US here. I mean probably worldwide. So I would have to guess around $10,000 to $15,000.
And you would be off by close to $50,000.
What?
The final gavel price for the original, not the ones they've been pulling out from their drawer, is the final cost was $71,700. That's what it went at gavel for. Sold to you for the low price.
Boy, they could have retired and then some off of those things. Like talking to each other in the early days, like, hey, dude, just put some in the drawer. We need something to retire off of. Just sketch sketch a quick Leonardo.
Right. This is going to be super huge. And I believe the original drawing was going to go up for auction, and I think it was Laird who wanted it to, like, he had their first drawing that he basically brought to Eastman, was like, here it is, kind of jokingly, this is a Ninja Turtle. I was watching Comic Book Men, and he showed it on that show, which is a great show, by the way, if you ever get a chance to watch it. But he showed it off, and he said, this is going to auction. No one's really seen it except for me and Eastman. And I believe the price that he was putting out was going to be $1 million, like starting dollars on it, or he would hope it would get $1 million, else he wasn't going to sell. Like it was going to have a minimum of what he wanted to get for it.
That's incredible. Well, kudos to whoever got that in their auction. They're probably going to be the next person's house that gets broken into, so...
Yeah, the sad thing about most of these is they usually just go to, the personal vault, unless they're a big fan and, they put it up in a museum or something.
Well, we can't wait to see what our listeners' favorite turtle treasure is. It may not be as expensive as a $70,000 original drawing from the 80s, but it might be something that you hold dear. So post that up on Instagram or our Facebook page, and we'd love to see it and talk about it with you guys. All right, Tim, it is time for our very last segment. I'm excited about it. I hope that our listeners are going to be excited about it. Time to get out your old toy boxes, dust them off, because we are going to talk about our top 5 favorite turtle action figures. Are you ready, Tim?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right, let's get into it. Here we go. So, number 5, what is one of your most favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures?
My number 5 would actually be do you remember the chef? The crazy chef. That basically, he was a bad guy. I just remember him, like, having him as a bad guy character. He was kind of one of these weird characters that they, did a one-off. Like, he might have been in one episode of the Turtles, but they had a bunch of the guys, creating the figures because they were so popular. And I just remember having the chef who was trying to make turtle soup out of the turtles.
Yes, that is awesome. Let's see. My number 5 would probably have to be Krang. I've got, the actual full-bodied Krang. I have that in my office. I do not know where Krang went. I cannot find him for the life of me. He goes into like the stomach area, and the fork on top is broken off, but yeah, I would say that was probably one of my top 5. All right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, number 4. What's your number 4?
Mutagen Man. So he actually had like the weird, he was similar to Krang, but he had like kind of had the weird face. Like you could see his insides of his body.
Yes.
Like I remember having, it's like a lot of my guys are kind of on the bad guy kind of spectrum, but I really like the toy design on some of these guys are just fun to me.
Yeah, they brought him
you?
back. They brought him back for the Nickelodeon version, Mutagen Man.
Yeah.
He's still out there. All right, my number 4 would probably have to be probably Slash. I think I still have him. I saved all my Ninja Turtle toys for years and years and years to hand them to my son, and then when I finally did, I gave them to him when he was too young, and I think he ripped off the leg of Slash, and I was like, no!
Oh, no.
He's like, yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't really care. So, yeah, Slash was the bad guy turtle, and with like the spikes and stuff on his back. Yeah, he was pretty sweet. I loved his like crooked side that he had and all the crazy stuff and like the claws
such
and all
a good
that.
Character.
He was a good bad guy action figure. So
and he kind of had that weird like his grimace. There was something about his face almost where he had like this like caveman kind of look to him.
Right, he had like spiky teeth.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 3.
My number 3 is Casey Jones for sure.
I still have him. I found him today.
Oh, very awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
He was just a good. I mean, Casey Jones in general was just a great character. I really liked him just with his whole arsenal of every sports item to inflict pain. Like I'm still big into hockey and just him having the hockey stick and the baseball bat was just, and then of course the clubs and keeping everything in the club bag was awesome.
My number 3 would definitely have to be, do you remember when they came out with the 90s movie line? Like they actually had the spots on them. I think I had a Raphael. They actually had it was like more rubbery. Either I borrowed it or played with it with a friend of ours. But yeah, that was definitely pretty incredible. So that would be my number 3. All right, number 2. What would be your number 2?
Number 2 is, like we talked before, just Leonardo. So he was my Leonardo. Just going with the original figure, just awesome. I just loved what they did. They just made a perfect toy line. I feel like
oh yeah,
they couldn't really do wrong with any of their figures that they made. I mean, the toys definitely that they have out today, I feel like they still tried to reach for that classic turtle look that Playmates put out, in the first run of
Absolutely. I have a Leonardo in my office from the Nickelodeon series. That's pretty cool. Fully posable and everything. This kind of puts my other one to shame, actually. All right, my number 2 would probably be actually Leonardo, but not the original Leonardo. There was a toy that came out. I still have it. He converts back into like a turtle and then can like transform back into like Leonardo, and even his sword retracts and everything. So and they came out with like a new version of them like about a year ago. It's kind of funny how like some of these guys are probably into the turtles as kids and now toy designers, and now they're designing toys based on their childhood memories. So yeah, that would be my number 2. All right, Tim, your number 1 top TMNT toy.
Yeah, my number 1 action figure is Mondo Gecko.
Yes.
And the reason is that was the last one I remember getting. So he was in the later line, kind of where Scratch and Hotspot and a lot of the weird random kind of figures that they had people do the random character designs for the toy line. He was my favorite, just this cool skater gecko that I just loved so much. He just had he had a skateboard with him, like that was pretty much it, like that's his accessory was a skateboard, and just had this really 80s/90s skate culture feel to him. Had like the backwards hat, and awesome, very stylized Gecko type character, and he's always been, the one I most remember because he was the last one I remember, I think, getting as a gift. I think I got from my dad. So I don't know where he's at now, but I just saw on eBay that they're not too expensive, so I might have to rebuy him and revisit the cool character of Mondo Gecko.
My favorite TMNT toy. Now, it's funny how it's not going to be a Ninja Turtle, like a regular Ninja Turtle, like Michelangelo Ninja Turtle. It was actually Triceratron. Or Ton.
Oh, yes.
Triceratron.
Yes.
Yeah, he was my most favorite action figure for the Turtles to fight whenever I was playing with them as a kid. I don't know why. There's something about this character that I really enjoyed. Well, for some reason, he was bright orange. I don't know why he was bright orange. But he had these big, massive guns and stuff. I still have him actually, and I'm actually losing his tail. I'm not sure where his tail went, but
for sure.
Another thing that now this isn't a figures. Another thing that I remember when I was a kid, I had the coolest pants I've ever seen in my life. They were like these polyester wind pants, like MC Hammer pants. I called them like my MC Hammer turtle pants, and I'm still made fun of to this day by my family for even having that. And to this day, I still defend them because I thought they were amazing. They were like these MC Hammer wind pants. They were purple, and they had little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle heads, like pattern all over it. I guess if we ever include it, that'd be funny to add like some kind of limerick or poem or something like that, which would be pretty funny. What do you think about that?
I think that would be amazing, Joel.
It could probably sound like this. Step on back to 89. Stonewashed jeans were less than fine. They made life dull and gray. Food had no flavor, will it stay this way? I walked to school and dragged my feet. Bullies in the playground, but they give me heat. All that changed when I got home. I saw a turtle box shaped like a dome. I ripped it open, and lo and behold, my heart leaped twice as I pulled the fold. Angel sang and glowed in fabulous prism. Purple turtle pants flowed in marvelous rhythm. I stared at the pants with eyes open wide. I ran to my room and looked at my prize. MC Hammer turtle pants fit my round frame. Looked in the mirror, these pants are insane. Smiling turtle heads popped off the purple fabric. Their green little smiles were completely fantastic. I hoped kids at school couldn't wait to see. Couldn't wait to show my friends, make them celebrate me. No Donald, no Goofy, no black and red Mickey. Bang da bang da bang da bang. Wiki wiki. Now hold on, I'm not done yet. Things took a turn when I landed downstairs. My brother and sisters gawked and they stared. They said, "Yo, bro, you look like a fool." They pointed and laughed, snapped a Polaroid too. I said, "What you mean? Don't you dig the sweet threads?" My brother was shamed and he wanted me dead. It's been a long time since I wore those pants. My sibs stopped the spittin' and the usual rants. One day I might find turtle pants that will fit. Here's hoping that my wife might tolerate it.
Yeah, Joel, I think there's Vanilla Ice already had that, and I don't think this is gonna work for our podcast. Yeah, that's true. It might weird too many people out. All right, thank you guys so much for joining us to episode 002, Shell Shocked. And like always, my good buddy Tim is going to close us with some final thoughts. Yeah, Joel, thanks. Ninja Turtles have always been a part of my life since the inception. By eight, I just remember watching the cartoon. I remember playing it on the playground, and just recently as last year, my wife and my two girls, we all dressed up as Ninja Turtles for a Christmas card, and I will be posting that picture on our Instagram account for everyone to see. But yeah, Turtles will always be near and dear to my heart. Can't wait to see the latest movie, which I haven't yet, and we would love to see all of your guys's share your moments in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle world, whether it's the arcade, anything else. We would love to hear about it. Joel, do you have any final thoughts? One of the things that I would encourage everybody to do is just take out their old stuff, talk about it with their family, their kids, if you have kids, your friends, just to connect. You know, that's what it's all about. It's not necessarily about the stuff, but it's about the relationships you build. And that's definitely the one thing I was looking forward to, is finding something that I enjoyed in my past and reconnecting with my son.
All right, Tim, one thing we are really excited about is connecting with you guys, the listeners, as we've told you before. So, Tim, how can they get in contact with us?
Yeah, send all of your photos, stories. We are at Growing Up Geeks on Instagram and Facebook. You can reach us there. And you can also reach us at Growing Up Geeks. And we are also growingupgeek80@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you via email also. Again, we just want to be able to connect with you guys. So we're at Growing Up Geeks on Facebook and on Instagram.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. And everyone have a good night.